Roberta Gerard, a domestic servant employed by Mr. and Mrs. Schuyler Whitney. It was her. But what shall I do? What?
Something tells me you did not have a good afternoon.
No, I did not.
Meaning you couldn't find anything for Skylar's Christmas present.
I went to all the trouble to find that nice little watchmaker that Sky told me about.
Didn't he have anything you wanted?
Well, he had some beautiful things, although he didn't have any with music boxes.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, what's wrong with that is that Schuyler has already replaced the watch that he lost.
Yes.
Yes, I can't believe it. He bought it himself from the same little old jeweler. I mean, that's a dirty trick.
Is Spencer here?
He's putting the car away. Hello?
Raven, well, this is your delightful businessman husband calling.
Well, hello, Precious. And did you have a very nice little meeting?
Yes, I've done about all the damage I can here. I've called a cab, and I guess I should be home in about a half hour.
Good, because I'm really looking forward to seeing you. You know why? I want you to tell me something.
Oh, about what?
I want you to tell me why you bought yourself a second pocket watch.
Well, how did you find out about that?
Never mind that, dear, but I'll give you half an hour to think of a good answer.
Well, the landlord doesn't believe in giving us too much heat. He thinks that cold apartments build character.
You should have a hot bath to get rid of that chill. Here, put this on. It isn't a fur coat, but it should do something.
Please, don't worry about me so much, Mrs. Carr. You've done enough already, leaving your lunch and chasing after me.
Well, I couldn't very well let you run around without a coat in this 40-degree weather.
Is it that high? I could have sworn it was below 20. God, it's so cold in here. You know, I haven't been mothered in a long time. I just met you half an hour ago.
It's very funny. I feel as if I've known you for a long time.
Because of your friend, Dr. Kavanaugh's wife?
They've both talked about you.
Well, what did they say?
Things.
Words of praise or words of pity?
Why do you say words of pity?
Oh, no reason. Not at all. No.
Oh, well, I can't exactly say that they were words of praise either. Look, why don't I put on some water for tea? That'll make you feel warm. Yeah, I heard that you were running around town playing practical jokes on people. Now, were those stories exaggerated?
Yes, they're exaggerated. Until you met me in the restaurant today and saw that man take the coat off my back.
Oh, I seem to remember you throwing it at him.
Well, it was his. Or rather, it belonged to the store that he worked for. I didn't steal it, if that's what you're thinking.
No.
Well, I couldn't blame you if you did. I'm sure that your friends, the Kavanaughs, have told you about the famous diamond and emerald bracelet.
I'd rather hear about the coat.
Okay. I charged it. Unfortunately, to an account that wasn't open. You see, actually, it was just closed to me. It belonged to my father, and I really didn't think he'd mind my using it just that once, but evidently he did.
Well, I think that man ought to have at least waited until you got home.
I think that's right. I could have caught my death of cold.
Yeah. I hope you have another coat for the winter.
Oh, don't worry. No, I have this wonderful, ragged old cloth coat. Wears like iron. It's guaranteed for a lifetime. The only trouble is I don't want to wear it for the rest of my life. I want better things, Mrs. Carr. I want furs. I want mink and sable and ermine, and I want diamonds and emeralds. I don't want rhinestones. I want the best that life can offer right now.
I'm going to tell you something.
What?
Well, it has to do with the best life can offer. If you really believe that it consists only of furs and jewelry and, luxuries like that, well, then, you've got a lot to learn. You try to stay warm. That water should be hot enough for your tea soon.
No, wait. You don't have to go. I mean, come back in and we'll have a hot drink together and talk. Please? I'd like that.
Poor Bobby. Well, I guess it's at least some small comfort knowing that she never knew what hit her.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Judging from the angle of the wound and the fact that no violence seemed apparent, I don't think she had any idea what was going on.
Yeah, well, I think it means something else. I think it means that she knew her killer.
I think that's very possible.
Well, I mean, if there's no sign of any sort of struggle, she didn't make a fuss getting in the car, then she must have trusted the guy.
All right, now you're assuming it was a guy.
Well, look, as far as we know about Bobby, she had no driver's license, she owned no car. Somebody had to drive her out there.
So it would have to have been somebody that she trusted. Because he couldn't keep her occupied while driving the car.
Right.
Yeah, but then if there were two guys, that blows
See,
the whole theory.
I just have a feeling there was only one guy. And I have a couple other feelings to lay on you.
No? All right, let's hear them.
Well, I'm gonna be sticking my neck out pretty far with this one.
Does that mean it's got something to do with Gavin Wiley?
Look, Gavin told Cliff that Bobby had clear evidence that Sky Whitney bought a second watch to try and throw us off the track.
Calvin.
Come on, I mean, look what happened when you tried to trap him.
So what if he bought a second watch? What difference would it make if he bought several watches? Would that necessarily mean that he was trying to throw us off the track?
Bobby was trying to find the original, the one that Jody told us about.
Oh, Bobby would have done anything to help Gavin. She would have jumped off the Monticello Bridge. You know it's true.
That's true, but the point is still the same.
She was jumping to conclusions. I'm not saying that she wasn't sincere. I think she was indulging herself in some wishful thinking.
Yeah, well, I guess she did do a lot of that with Gavin.
She only spoke to Gavin Wiley. The only one who reported to us what she said was Gavin Wiley. Is Gavin Wiley impartial?
Okay. It sounds like I had better not finish what I was about to say.
Uh-oh. Were you going to tell me that you thought Skylar Whitney had something to do with this?
Chief, I've got no evidence, but it's something that's got to be checked out.
You're the officer in charge of this case. You do whatever you think has to be done.
Right. I will.
For only one reason.
I know, Jody, to see if she could find that second pocket watch.
But she saw that watch on Sky Whitney's person at Sid's restaurant.
But how did she know that it was a different watch?
Because of the tune. She said it didn't sound like Auld Lang Syne to her.
Assuming that she was close enough to have been able to have heard that melody. Jody, I don't mean to make light of your theory, believe me.
Well, obviously Bobby Gerard thought that her mission was important.
I'm sure she did. But that doesn't mean that she accomplished it.
Well, she told Gavin she did. I mean, at least she said that she knew that there were two watches.
See, she claimed that Sky Whitney bought that other watch himself. It's obvious the reason why, isn't it?
Yes, so that when we confronted him at the theater, he'd be able to pull out a watch that played an entirely different tune.
Right. It's logical, isn't it?
I'm not questioning the logic, Cliff. It's the proof I'm questioning.
Okay, but what if we found out the date the watch was bought?
Bobby told Gavin the name of the jeweler. Well, unfortunately, though, he can't remember it.
Some people might say conveniently.
Well, I am sure that Gavin is telling the truth.
Easy, Jody, easy. Look, Mike, we think the police should investigate this matter thoroughly, and it won't take much time. There are only so many jewelers in town.
That's up to Derek Mallory, Cliff, not to this office.
This office is the ones that are going to put Gavin Wiley on trial in a few days.
Is this a request for a postponement?
Well, it is near Christmas, isn't it? We're going to have to go into recess for that, and this trial may take a lot longer than we think.
But you were the one who asked for a speedy trial, Cliff. Have you changed your mind?
Mr. Carr, I can't stand the thought of Gavin being in jail, especially during the holidays and Christmas. Why can't you let him out until the trial?
Jody, if it had been up to me, that's what I would have done. But the court didn't have much choice. Fugitives aren't usually given a second chance to run away.
Look, Mike, we'll take this postponement. That is, if you're offering it. It'd probably be worthwhile, especially if the police find something about this jeweler.
All right, Cliff, if that's what you want. I'll petition the court to set a trial date in early January.
Thanks, Mike.
What about bail? Do you think that's possible for Gavin?
I doubt it very much, Jody.
Look, don't worry about it. I'll talk to the judge. I'll sing him a Christmas carol or something.
Yeah. It's just that I can't stand the thought of not spending Christmas with him. It's our first Christmas.
Oh, 10 minutes.
How did it go?
Well, it could have gone better. I just can't get Mike excited about this watch business. So I guess I can't blame him.
You're still going to follow up on it, though, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I'm meeting with Calvin today. In fact, he should be there right about now.
Calvin's coming here?
Yes. Hi, anybody home?
You're right. Calvin is definitely coming here. Yeah, okay. I'll tell him.
You gonna tell me what?
That was Cliff. He's going to be delayed. But, make yourself comfortable.
Wow. Thank you.
That's okay. I have a few things to take care of anyway.
Oh, please, don't leave on my account.
Oh, no, I'm not. I have some precedents to look up in the library.
Oh, precedents, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I bet if we were at your house, you'd probably tell me you had to, wash your hair. You know, I think I'm beginning to figure you lady lawyers out. Look, Dee Dee, if my present is gonna bother you, I will...
No, Calvin, you're not bothering me.
Are you sure you've got something you have to, look up?
You know, as a matter of fact, what I really need to do is to file some of these things away here.
So how you been, Dee Dee?
Fine. And you?
Well, let's see. Monday, I had a slight cold. Tuesday, I got a paper cut. You know, people don't realize that most cops' wounds have nothing to do with guns. Stubbed my toe getting out of bed this morning. Ouch. Other than that, though, I'm fine, too.
Thanks for the full report.
Somebody asks me how I feel, I want to tell them, you know.
I see. How's your wife?
She's fine, too.
Have you heard from her lately?
Yeah, I got a letter this morning. They're, opening next week.
Really? She must be very excited.
Nervous is the word.
I guess you are, too.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, after all, if the show is a big hit, then, you might not see her for a long time. You might even have to move to New York.
How was, Cliff's meeting with Mike this morning? Did it go okay?
I thought we were talking about your wife.
Let's not, okay?
Why not?
Because it, bothers me.
I guess it's only natural. After all, you might not see your wife for months. That is, unless you're willing to give up your job so that...
Dee Dee, don't, huh?
Calvin, why can't we talk about this openly?
Because it makes me feel worse than I already do to have a quiet chat with you about the woman I married when all I'm doing is thinking about you, looking at you, wanting you.
Calvin, I'd better go to the library.
Now, Raven, it isn't quite the end of the world, you know. I'm sure there are other gifts that Scarlett will appreciate.
You name me one thing Skylar doesn't have.
Well, it isn't easy, I agree.
Well, I didn't think he had a watch because Bobby stole his only watch, but obviously he even has that.
Perhaps you can think of something else that's old and unique.
Well, I just don't want to show off.
Why, Raven, I thought that was your profession.
Well, I mean, not in front of other people.
Of course.
So there you are.
Oh, hello. I'm in the doghouse.
Mm-hmm. If you'll excuse me.
So, what is the great crime that I've committed?
Oh, you know very well what you did.
Oh, yeah. That's right, I bought a watch. Well, that's a pretty terrible crime, all right? I think it carries the death sentence in some states.
Skylar, you know what I mean. It's a crime because you didn't tell me about it.
If it's such a secret, how did you find out about it?
Well, the man told me.
What man?
The jeweler, the same place where you bought this.
Well, how did you find out about him? I mean, he's not exactly the neighborhood jeweler.
Yes, I know. I had to go way over to the other side of town in order to buy it, but I remember that you told me that he fixed your watch when it was running slow.
Yeah, that's right, he did.
And I thought that maybe I could replace the watch that you lost, and then I thought maybe it could be a Christmas present. So what happened when I walked in there? You told me you already bought a watch.
Yeah, that's right. When I was in there, I got 2 watches, one for you and one for me.
Oh, you thought the other watch was getting lonely.
Look, as it turns out, it's a good thing that I did because the original is missing now. So, what's all the fuss anyway?
Well, I just thought you should have told me about it. Guess I'll forgive you.
Well, thank you.
Is it hot in here or something? You're sweating.
What that phone call was about. Surely you are not going out again tonight.
I'm sorry, Angel. This is something that I've got to take care of right away.
But why now, all of a sudden?
Because it came up all of a sudden. I mean, I'm really sorry, but that's the way things work. The telephone rings and I'm presented with a whole new set of problems. I've just got to set my priorities.
Well, I'm just wondering when your wife is going to be your #1 priority.
Oh, now, come on, Angel. Be cooperative, will you? Be a sport. I'll be back soon, I promise. Mr. Hoffman.
Yes, Officer Sam. How are you, my friend? Came by to see a no man, huh?
Oh, I was just wondering why you're open so late, sir.
Oh, I'm waiting for a customer. A very special customer. Sometimes you have to accommodate people and go beyond the time.
Yeah, well, don't stay open too late, sir. You've got to look out for your health. See you.
Sam! Nothing, my friend. Nothing.
Too solid flesh would melt.
Cliff, this is no time to stand around sounding like the Prince of Tragedy, okay?
So I can't help it, Calvin. I'm very upset about this whole watch business.
Yeah, well, being upset is not going to solve the problem. We've got to think this thing out, all right?
Well, I have thought about it, and so far all I come up with is only you, me, Gavin, and Jody take this business seriously.
Yeah, I know that, and that's exactly why we've got to start digging deeper.
Gavin could only remember the name of the jeweler that Bobby went to see.
Why don't you just try making a few phone calls, huh?
Calvin, there are a lot of jewels in Monticello.
Cliff, will you shut up and start digging?
Madam,
Sir.
you look lovely.
Oh, you're too kind.
Not kind enough. Remember Uncle Harry?
How could I forget Uncle Harry?
Well, he had a favorite expression that fits you perfectly.
Oh, which was what?
You're some dish.
Ah, thank you. Would you like some?
Why not?
Okay.
Ready for a drink?
No, I think I'll wait until Miles and Nicole get here. I'm particularly anxious to see Nicole tonight.
Why particularly?
Because I want to apologize for running out on her at lunch today.
Doesn't sound like you. What happened?
Well, we were at lunch and chatting, and then, Jinx Avery suddenly showed up. You heard of her, Miles' new patient.
Oh, yes, the shoplifting patient.
Yes, well, I've been hearing about her so much lately, and suddenly she showed up, so I found it rather interesting.
How so?
Well, to begin with, she was wearing a magnificent fur coat.
Women always seem to notice things like that.
Honey, this coat is very significant to the story.
Okay, please. Sorry, go on.
Okay, it seems that she had charged it, but not to her own account.
Whose account did she charge it to?
Her father's, which is the first time we've ever heard of him. And he wouldn't honor the charge.
Uh-oh. Trouble ahead. I can see it coming.
You are so right, because the man from the shop came running into the restaurant and practically begged her to give it back.
Good Lord, what did she do?
She threw it at him, and then she wandered off into the cold.
Now, wait a minute. Don't tell me any more. Let me guess what happened. You followed her.
Well, Mike, it was the only reasonable thing to do. I mean, after all, Miles had said that she is ill, and what was the weather today? 40 degrees, if that. So I just got her into a cab and brought her to her apartment.
Still the Good Samaritan of Monticello.
Honey, she needed help.
Well, Miles said that Jinx Avery needed a friend, and something tells me she's found one.
And something tells me that there's really a very sweet girl behind all that madcap nonsense.
Your intuition about people is almost always infallible. I imagine it's probably right this time.
I have the feeling that she isn't nearly as carefree as she'd like everybody to believe. She needs friends. She needs people who care about what happens to her and let her know that. So that's why I hope you won't be upset.
Upset about what?
I invited her to join us for dinner tonight.
How come you're always so darn cheerful?
It's my nature, Mrs. Goodman.
A natural device to cover up your dark side.
Pardon?
Nothing. How come you're not at the studio with Mrs. Kavanaugh today? What are you working here for?
Because Mrs. Kavanaugh asked me to, that's why. And I thought I'd stay until she returned to see if she needs any help.
Well, that's not very likely. I think that you prefer working here, that you'd rather be here than at the studio. It gives you more of a sense of control over things.
Oh, I'm Mrs. Goodman. What a thing to say. I don't control anything here except this typewriter and a few files. Although I'll have to admit that the atmosphere here in the penthouse is a lot more pleasant than that in the studio. Don't you find it pleasant here?
Depends on the company.
Well, I know you must like it here or you wouldn't be working, would you? Except for the height. Of course, the terrible height of the penthouse. Imagine it, all those floors down to the street below. All that empty space.
Gives me the shivers just to think about it. How about you, Mrs.
Hey, is my wife not home yet?
Not yet.
Oh, dear. Must be running late. I'll get it. Hello? Hi, sweetheart. I was just wondering why you weren't home. We're due at the cars in about 10. Oh, no. I see. Well, I guess it can't be helped. I hope they realize how lucky they are to have a boss who can fill in like that. Yeah. Wait, does this make us even? I mean, does this make up for the other evening when I kept you all waiting for dinner? Huh? No, don't feel bad about it. I know you don't have any choice. Now, I'll see you when you get there. I'll make your apologies to Mike and Nancy. Yeah, okay, sweetheart. Bye-bye.
Hang up at the studio, huh?
Yeah, well, the newscaster does the 11 o'clock news. Got sick, so Nicole has to take over, which means she will be very late for dinner. She's just going to have to meet me there when she can.
Oh, dear, that's too bad.
Yeah, well, it can't be helped. Nora, that means I guess you don't have to stick around any longer.
All right, Doctor, thank you.
I'd be going past your place on my way to the cars. I can give you a lift if you want.
Well, that's very nice. Thank you, yes.
No problem.
How's your day?
Well, it was busy, productive.
And, how's your patient, Miss Avery?
Well, she's doing fairly well.
Mrs. Kavanaugh just mentioned that you finally met her.
Yes, she did, as a matter of fact. Not under the best of circumstances.
Dr. Kavanaugh, I hope you won't think me intrusive, but if there's any time that I can help with this situation, I really would like to.
Well, Nora, that's very kind of you, but I don't know
As
what
you know, I don't have any family here and no responsibilities except my job. And like Miss Avery, no particular ties. I'm single. And I have a lot of free time, and I would like to help if there's anything at all that I can do.
Well, I will remember that. Thank you.
Dr. Kavanaugh, you're not going to go out without your coat.
My coat. Of course I'm not going to go out without my coat. The den mother speaks, you listen.
Oh, yes. What in the world would we do without her? Good night, Mrs. Goodman.
Good night.
Night.
Antique pocket watch. It has a music box movement, yes. Wow, she'd kill me if she knew that I lost it. Oh, you have? When? Well, 11 years is a long time ago, yes, it is, yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I hate this, Calvin. I hate this.
Yeah, the last 3 places I called didn't even answer. You know, it's after closing time.
I think we're wasting our time.
Calvin, call on the red phone.
I'll try a few more numbers.
Well, how are you?
Hanging in there? How's yourself?
Fine. What's up?
Well, Lorimer just went to arrange a meeting, and I thought I'd use the time to get in touch.
What's he up to?
Well, he's setting up a meeting between himself and a couple of other guys at a local restaurant, I think in about an hour.
Well, sounds like you're moving along anyway. I just hope neither of those 2 guys knows who you are.
Well, I didn't recognize either one of the names. I think I'll be okay. But, I guess we'll talk to you later, sweetheart. Bye-bye.
What's with you and this telephone? You got telephonitis or something?
Well,
I think I'm going to have to take you to a doctor and get the phone cut out of your ear.
While you were gone, I thought I'd use the opportunity.
I know. Either you got the busiest bookmaker in town or some great little chick on the side.
Actually, my chick is my bookmaker.
That's cute. I like that. Listen, we're all set. You're going to like my friends, Chummy and Vincent. They're waiting for us down at the restaurant. What do you say? You all set?
Sure.
Let's go.
Yes, it's a gold antique pocket watch with a music box movement. Do you handle anything like that?
Yes, sometimes I do, sir. I had one recently, but I sold it.
You had one recently and you sold it? Hey, Calvin, you had one recently and you sold it. Could you tell me to whom you sold it?
No, please. I never give out the names of my customers. It's not right.
Calvin, I think we got something here. It's the only jeweler I've called who handles antique watches, and he just sold one recently. What do you think?
That's the closest thing we got to an answer. Let's hit it.
Scotch on the rocks.
Coming up.
I'm sorry that Nicole is tied up at the station.
Well, so am I. Couldn't be helped, something of an emergency.
Maybe she can make it for dessert anyway.
Yes, I hope so.
I hope so, too. Remember the last time we planned dinner together?
Mm-hmm, the coach house.
Yes, that time I couldn't make it. Ah, well, revenge is sweet, I told Nicole. Now we're even.
Well, I remember you had problems with a new patient, Miss Avery. How's she doing?
She's doing fairly well.
Miles, I should tell you, that is Miss Avery.
What?
Good evening, Miss Avery. Come
Hello,
in, please.
Mr. Carr.
Hello, I'm so glad you could come.
Hi. Oh, I do hope you'll call me Jinx. Dr. Kavanaugh does. Well, Doctor, such a great surprise seeing you here.
Well, it's a surprise for me, too.
Would you care for a drink, Miss Avery?
Yes, I'll take a scotch and soda, please. Well, isn't this nice? I'm so glad to know that we're going to be a foursome.
Oh, well, actually, my...
Would you please excuse me for a few minutes? I have to take care of some things in the kitchen.
Need any help?
Yes, thank you.
If this isn't just right, Miss Avery, I'll be glad to doctor it.
Oh, I'm sure it's perfect, thank you. I don't think I need any doctoring at the moment.
Well, take it easy, huh?
Oh, that's right. I know the line. Take it easy and you'll live for the rest of your life.
Did I hear the car drive off?
Yes, you did, and Skylar was in it.
What happened?
Got a phone call from somebody and went off to some stupid meeting or another.
And you're irritated.
Yes.
My dear Raven, if you'll take my advice, which is not at all likely, I think it's time you and Skylar had a vacation together.
You know, I've been thinking the same thing, too, but he just seems so preoccupied lately, and I just can't seem to get through to him. It just makes me so angry.
Raven, why don't you talk to Skylar about it? I think you both need a change from the unhappy events in this house over the past few months.
You know, you're absolutely right. I'm just so sick of all this. I'm going to make him take me someplace far away so I can just forget all of this.
Good evening, Mr. Hoffman.
Yes, Mr. Whitney, I've been waiting for you, sir. You shouldn't have come all the way down here just to see me.
Oh, nonsense. I thought it was important.
But you've taken a great deal of trouble.
No trouble at all. You see, I'm concerned about you, my friend.
Very kind, I'm sure.
In a way, I'm responsible for the trouble that you're in.
Trouble?
But I am here to help so that you don't have to worry.
I have to worry?
Now, let me see if I can explain things to you so that we can reach an understanding. Bobby Gerard was a new maid at my house. She was only working for a few days. And she was a bit careless. She began looking at my pocket watch, and she dropped it and decided that she would bring it here to be repaired. Unfortunately for you.
Why is it unfortunate for me?
Well, that's what I'm going to tell you, and that's the reason that I feel somewhat responsible. Let me put it to you this way. This is the last known stop that Bobby made last night. I imagine that after she left here, she went out and tried to hitch a ride. More than likely, she got in the car with some awful maniac. A sex maniac, Mr. Hoffman. Shortly after that, she died so tragically. And you know the police, the first thing they might think of, but you know what I mean. You are a widower, I believe. I mean, you are here alone, aren't you?
What are you saying? Do you think that the police might think that I assaulted the poor child?
Well, you know how anxious they are to solve these cases, Mr. Hoffman.
But I'm an old man. I'm a very sick man. I have heart trouble. I don't know what to do.
The police are capable of some very sick thinking, Mr. Hoffman. Now, if I were you, for your own sake, I wouldn't tell them anything about Bobby Gerard being here. And I tell you what, I won't say anything to them either. I guarantee it.
But perhaps it would help. Maybe they could find the people.
Maybe they would think that you were responsible, Mr. Hoffman.
But if I just told them the truth?
They'd think that you did it. Is that what you want? Do you want them to think that you did it, that you're a lecherous old man, Hoffman, that you're a murderer?
No, please, no. I had nothing to do with it. She was just a customer. A customer.
All right, Mr. Hoffman. There's nothing to get worked up over. Everything is going to be all right, as long as you're silent. And I will do everything that I can to protect you, I guarantee that.
Thank you, Mr. Whitney. Thank you. It's all so terrible to think about.
I know. Now, just don't you worry, Mr. Hoffman. Everything will work out fine. Oh, but just remember, your safety is your silence.
Take off away from here and forget about all these troubles, and maybe by the time we get back, the curse will be lifted off this house.
Of course it will.
And you know what? I'll tell him that that's what I want for Christmas. A second honeymoon. I mean, our first honeymoon was cut short, and Skylar has promised me that he would take me on a second one.
That sounds fair enough. Do you have any ideas about location?
Yes. Switzerland. Christmas in Switzerland. It will be beautiful. Like the mountains, snow, sleigh bells, a big roaring fire, and a very expensive chateau. Oh, God, it'll be great. I'll insist on it. I just won't take no for an answer. And Skylar had just better be prepared.
Mr. Hoffman? Clifford Nelson, we spoke on the phone.
The old boy looks like he's falling asleep. Hey, Mr. Hoffman, wake up. Wake up, Mr. Hoffman.
I'm Harry Morgan.
That we are going on a second honeymoon, and I don't mean just for a few days or even a week, maybe not even just a month.
Why not the entire winter?
No, that's a good idea. We could first go to the Alps, and then we could go to the Riviera. Oh, boy, he's going to pay for the way he has been treating me.
Raven, your attitude can only be described as deplorable. No, a better word is impractical.
Why do you say that?
My dear girl, if you really want this trip, then don't present it to Skylar as if it were some sort of punishment.
But he deserves it.
How in the world did you grow up without hearing the old adage about catching more flies with honey?
Oh, you might be right. If I demand this trip, he might really be annoyed. You know how men are with their silly pride.
Yes, and how lucky we women are that we don't have any.
Or maybe I shouldn't have been so upset when he bought that watch without telling me.
Well, he did explain it. It was rather like a compliment, really. He liked the first watch so much that he couldn't resist it when he saw a second.
Maybe you're right. But I still have my Christmas problem. I mean, I don't know what to get him.
Oh, Raven, I've known many men who had dozens of antique watches, and they were always very thrilled to receive another.
Not only are you right, you're a genius.
Well, surely you're not going to try the shop now, are you, at this hour?
Oh, yes, he lives there. I saw living quarters in the back room. Phone's busy.
Poor guy. Had this watch in his hand when we came in. Sort of like dying with your boots on, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Hoffman jewelry. No, look, we tried a CPR on the old guy already. It's just no use. Right, we'll be here when you get here. Thanks. They'll be over in a little while.
No one never knew if this was the jeweler Bobby Gerard was going to go see.
Let me have a look at that ledger again, will you? I can't make hide nor hair of this. I thought it was supposed to be doctors who had bad handwriting.
Oh, he doesn't have the names of customers. It's just the goods and the repairs and the prices. Think you want to answer that?
No, so since she's not going to. Yeah. Look, you mind if I ask if you are a relative or close personal friend of Mr. Hoffman?
I'm a customer.
Well, he won't be doing business anymore. He passed away this evening.
You mean he's dead?
That's right.
Oh, my God.
Now, that's funny.
What's that?
Yeah, there's just something familiar about that voice.
Nancy just put the coffee on, so it won't be too long now.
Oh, I'm not in a hurry. The evening is going fast enough for me.
Almost 11. Nicole will be on the air pretty soon with the news, so she will be with us after all.
That's right.
But it won't be the same, will it? I was just telling Dr. Cavanaugh how nice Nicole was to come to the restaurant and pay my bill.
Oh, yes. I drank part of that bill, you know, and I think it was the best glass of champagne I've ever had.
Yes, very generous. Very generous. What did that champagne cost? About $100?
Well, you know me, Doctor. Nothing but extravagance will do. There are times in your life that you've just got to go for it. Don't you agree, Mr. Carr?
Yes, I suppose so, but hopefully at your own expense.
Touché. Do I have time for some more scotch?
Of course. Nancy will be a few more minutes. She's baking a applesauce cake for dessert.
Thought I smelled something good.
Oh, I do envy women who can cook and bake and sew and do all those things. I'm afraid my domestic education was badly neglected.
Sounds like the acting bug bit you at an early age.
Oh, it did. As a matter of fact, I remember exactly when it did. It was at one of those matinee movies, a Joan Crawford classic. You know, that woman has ruined more young women than alcohol and fast dancing put together.
In what way?
Well, because she was such a fabulous actress. Everyone wanted to be like her. And I, too, wanted to be a star of stage, screen, and television. So it was goodbye cooking and hello, Broadway.
Yes, well, speaking of screens, I think Nicole's probably on the air by now. Do you want to turn on the set?
Oh, let's do.
Sure. I'll get it, Miles. Thank you.
No motive for the brutal slaying has been established and no arrests have been made. But police have developed some ideas as to how and why Bobby Gerard was murdered. I spoke to Police Chief Derek Mallory in his office this afternoon. He had this to say.
We are fairly certain that Bobby Gerard knew the identity of her assailant, that she got into his or her car of her own volition.
What about the weapon, Chief Mallory? Has it been discovered?
No, it hasn't. We feel it was probably a tire iron or something of that nature that would normally be in an automobile.
Are the police making any predictions about arrests?
No, I don't want to make any comment on that. We're checking out some of her known associates, and I feel we'll probably have a lead in a few days.
While I was interviewing Chief Mallory about the Bobby Gerard murder, I asked him about the report from the City Crime Commission stating that there has been an influx of known crime figures into the Monticello area during recent months.
Yes, we're well aware of it, and I'm keeping tabs on their activities here in Monticello.
What do you think accounts for this invasion, Chief?
I'll tell you exactly what I think. Major criminal investigations taking place in some of our larger neighboring cities. These criminals think that Monticello might provide a safe haven for them. Well, I would like to state right now, for their benefit and for the benefit of the public, that they are completely mistaken.
I'll be back with more news right after this.
This will be a good time to check on Nancy. Excuse me.
Boy, that Derek Mallory sure is a good-looking guy, isn't he?
Yeah, sure.
Did you know I went to dinner with him the other night? He's really very different after he gets out from behind that big desk of his. In fact, he's quite charming, most appealing.
Well, I'm glad you got to know him better.
You know what I've been wondering about you, Doctor? If you'd be very different if I knew you better.
Calvin,
Hello.
you know, you really should call before you
I
come
know,
over.
I know, I would have, except I thought you might tell me not to come. Look, I promise I won't stay long. I just needed to see a friendly face.
You've had a bad day, obviously.
And the night isn't much better. You know that guy we were looking for, the one that Bobby went to see, that antique jeweler? Well, guess what?
It was the wrong man.
No, it was the wrong time. He was dead.
What?
Yeah. Natural causes, heart attack, so there goes that lead.
Oh, wow. Calvin, I'm really sorry.
Are you really?
Of course.
Good. I was hoping to get some sympathy. I hear that that's akin to love, and I think it's pretty good for starters, don't you?
Calvin, don't don't start something that I can't finish.
Oh, well, okay. You can't blame a guy for trying, though, can you?
Hello? Oh, hi.
Well, I'm just about ready to leave. I'll be taking off as soon as Jim gives me my next assignment.
Of course, Julius. I'll be expecting you.
Hey, it's me, Mitzi. Can't you recognize my voice?
So long. Fine. I'll see you then.
Yeah, sure. Boy, she needs her ears checked.
Well, so you're expecting company, I hear. I guess that means I should hit the road, huh?
Calvin, I really am sorry.
Night, Dee.
Good night.
Chummy and Vincent ought to be along any minute now. So, you said you never met these guys before, huh?
No, I never had the chance. But I understand they've got a really good business set up.
They've been handling a lot of pieces. But I think they figure it's better to hook up with me, because I got a lot more action going.
But you're paying to get into this, right?
Yeah. But don't forget, I told them to bring the books. I don't buy nothing without looking at the books. My father didn't raise any dummies, you know what I mean?
You're a smart man, Eddie.
Nah, I'm careful.
You know something, Walter? I didn't recognize you with your clothes on.
Huh?
I mean, in your regular clothes, not your police uniform.
Oh, yeah. You know something?
What?
I know that guy over there.
Where?
That guy over there, the guy facing us.